The problem with Suella Braverman's initiatives, and there's so many of them, it's almost impossible to keep count, is they're all impulsive, ill thought out, and morally questionable. So, at a time when foreign offenders in the UK, when their deportation has dropped, there are, in 2016, over 6,000 people were expelled from the UK, and now that figure has almost halved. And people who are coming to the UK, applying to come to the UK, if they have had prison sentences of 4 years, then they're not considered. Well, there are many reasons why people have prison sentences. Some of those prison sentences are simply a political imprisonment. Would you give Navalny a British citizenship? I hope you would, even if you don't entirely agree with all his views. It's simply outrageous that somebody should be imprisoned in a foreign prison and that we don't offer them citizenship simply because we have a default position. Now, Suella Braverman wants to say that anybody with a prison sentence of a year or more will face stricter good character rules. Well, all of this is complete guff. And Suella Braverman is well aware of this, particularly because stories like the story of the of Siabonga Twala from Chester, who is in legal limbo, who is stuck in visa chaos in Ankara for more than 6 months. He's been there. Blocked from boarding a flight back from Turkey to Manchester last December. And this is because he had had a cannabis offence 5 years ago. And this sets a precedent, well, what his lawyer says is a worrying precedent from Braverman. But it's not part of the initiative at the moment. And this initiative is with the fanfare of this will stop inappropriate people accessing, holding a British passport, voting, accessing free medical care from the NHS. Well, but the free medical care from the NHS isn't really available, is it? I mean, so that's not something to crow about. And this idea, which has been milked for so long, that people are coming to the UK to access our medical care, 9 times out of 10, it's better where they belong, where they come from. Much better. And there are other countries that do better medical care. This is simply absurd. This is pontificating and patronising guff. More of the rubbish from Suella Braverman. And, Twala was on his way back home from South Africa with his 9-year-old son, Mason, his parents, his siblings, when he's prevented from boarding a flight, in a connecting flight in Istanbul. And there is no reason in the current legislation, and no reason in any legislation for him not to have been welcomed back to the UK. He did his crime, he did his time, and that should have been it. And if there was a possibility of him being deported, then that should have been on paper before he left the country. This is entrapment. It's nasty, but typical of this vile and vain and vicious, there you are, 3 V's, Home Secretary. Vile, vain, and vicious.